Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Life of Logan TV. You are not here by coincidence, you're here because you are meant to be. So, as long as you're here, you might as well do me a favor and like the video and make sure you're subscribed if you haven't done so already, and hit the notification bell so you're always alerted whenever I drop one of these videos. And can we just have a moment, like before I even get into the content of the video or whatever, the Salt and Pepper High Stepper is in the building. Y'all see it, man. I ain't ashamed of the gray, man. The Salt and Pepper High Stepper is in the building. The beard looking good. You know what I'm saying? The gray coming in real nice. Don't get mad. You know what I'm saying? Don't hate. Appreciate. But all seriousness though, I do want to talk about environments. Specifically the environments that we grew up in. Not only just within our household, but outside our neighborhoods or just places that we occupied, and how they normalize certain behavior for us. I think back when I was probably maybe 9 or 10 years old. I was around 9 or 10 years old, but I was coming from school, elementary school, obviously. I used to get dropped off in the morning by my grandparents, but I would walk home after school with my friends. So we were walking home, and every day we would walk home, there was a corner store not too far away from the school that we would stop at. We would get candy, chips, juices, like kid stuff. And I remember one day coming from school, we were walking to that same store, and coming up, we saw it was police outside, and we saw someone we saw a white sheet on the ground. We saw a white sheet on the ground, and it had a red stain on it. And everybody's like, that's weird. Because at this point we didn't really know what was going on. And, somebody said that, hey, yeah, it was somebody from the local high school that was within the district had came up there, and him and some other kid had got into it, and they started having words, and they went out in the parking lot, and one kid shot the other one. And we were just like, oh, okay. So, and then the store owner was like, well, y'all can still come in and buy something though. And we went in, we bought something, and we just went on ahead and left. Like it wasn't a dead body laying outside. That was at least my first time seeing a newly dead body. I had been to funerals and stuff for family members at that point in my life, but I had never seen somebody who just got killed and they laying out. Even though I didn't know how to feel about it, it didn't really feel right. But we just went ahead, we just kept on walking. We went ahead and walked, walked home the rest of our way or whatever, and we didn't even talk about what happened. It was just an unsaid thing. There was another instance around that same time in my life where I was over my grandparents' house, and my dad, because my dad stayed there at the time, so I was spending time with my dad, and it was my dad and my uncle, and I believe everybody else was out of town. One of my uncles, R.I.P. Uncle Tony, and my Uncle Tony, he had left with a family friend, and they were going up to the local liquor store, making a beer run. And me and my dad just stayed behind because it was kind of late at night. It was dark at least. I'm not gonna say it was late, but it was dark. And it was dark and it was kind of chilly. So my dad was just like, nah, me and Steven gonna stay behind. And then coming back in, they came back in through the garage. And the friend, he apparently had got stabbed when they were up there at the liquor store. And I'm seeing him, and he holding his stomach or whatever, and they man, and he I don't know what happened. Uncle's I don't know what happened or whatever, man. I just came outside or whatever, and he was like this or whatever, and then and it's just I just saw that, and then it was just I just get told Stephen, go back in there and watch TV. Yes, sir. I just went right back in there and watched TV ain't nothing happened. And nobody said anything about he survived, but nobody said anything about what happened or anything. That type of stuff is how we normalize violence within kids. To where you just thinking it's just Cameron said in Paid in Full. People get shot every day. You'll be all right. Drink you some water, have you some soup, you'll be all right. So at this point in my life, I've seen, well, I didn't actually see the acts happen, but I've seen directly after the ramifications of somebody being shot and somebody being stabbed. And that, I'm normalizing that as a kid. I'm just like, yeah, that's just what happens in, you know what I'm saying, this neighborhood or whatever and stuff like that. That's the same way how if you grew up in a house where there was violence, domestic violence, or just like violence, like, you know, like a bunch of fighting and stuff like that, be it between, you know, siblings or just other family members, or maybe you were involved in the violence or whatever, you just think to yourself like, yeah, that's normal. That's normal. That's what you're supposed to do. That's how you solve your problems. We can't get along, so we might as well get it on. That's not the way that we should do things. And we normalize that stuff, and then so when you meet somebody who did not have the same upbringing as you or hasn't had the same life experiences as you, you tend to think like, what's wrong with you? When in fact, it's like, no, what's wrong with you? Like, that's not normal. Like, you need to seek therapy. Like, that's not normal for you to have seen things like that. And I wish we could normalize people having different backgrounds, and not only having different backgrounds, but normalize maybe the things that we saw that we thought as children was normal and was status quo, getting out in the world and then seeing like, nah, that's not the way it goes. So I'd be interested in hearing y'all thoughts. So let me know how y'all think I did. Comment down below. Let me know what's going on with it. Let me know if you liked the video. Let me know what you liked about the video. And don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Hit the notification bell. Make sure you're subscribed. All that good stuff. This is Life of Logan TV. And I'm going to remember this time, this is the I am not my environment bicep thumbnail. And I will catch y'all next time. As always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.